Censor stars Niamh Algar as a film censor named Enid. After viewing a strangely familiar video nasty, Enid sets out to solve the past mystery of her sister's disappearance, embarking on a quest that dissolves the line between fiction and reality. This premiered back over the summer and is written and directed by Prano Bailey Bond in her feature debut. Taking place in the 1980s, there's a throwback aesthetic to it as it takes place at the height of the video nasty controversy, something that I wasn't quite as familiar with until watching the film. But it basically revolved around a series of low-budget exploitation and horror movies that were known for their explicitly violent content distributed through video cassettes in the 80s, and they caused an uproar at the time where they pushed to get these censored, and this takes place during that time period. The film essentially tells two different storylines. One is of Enid attempting to track down her missing sister, who she believes is still alive despite her parents insisting otherwise, as she's been gone for years, and the other is of the video nasty controversy itself, in which Enid is named as the censor who approved of a film that inspired a real-life murder. And this causes her mental state to deteriorate, and that's where this film heads down some twisted territory. There's clearly a very body horror-inspired aesthetic to the film, with a lot of influences clearly coming from David Cronenberg. I know this will most certainly receive comparisons to his surreal classic Videodrome, which was actually in the 80s and explores some similar territory. And while the sequences set in reality will have the production values of any contemporary film, we also get several extended sequences of Enid watching these videos or suffering from hallucinations that are in the form of these videos. And when we get these, they recreate the feel of a low-budget video nasty, with the quality grainy and the aspect ratio changed. But it still looks really solid, and these sequences were very creative. Often we get these horror movies that revolve around characters having visions, and they typically feel repetitive in nature. Here though, we get these nightmarish sequences Enid experiences, but they don't feel one-note or slow-moving. I wouldn't call this boring by any means. There's always so much going on in each of these sequences, with some really vivid imagery, and it makes for an engaging experience all around. The film's reliance on its imagery, as well as its atmosphere, gives off a consistently unnerving vibe. It's a film that looks to get under your skin rather than going for a traditional scare, and the way it approaches its brooding subject matter, it feels refreshingly original. However, I'd say the film ultimately stumbles a bit for me in its final act, as it tries bringing together the video nasty storyline along with the missing sister storyline, and I don't feel it came together in a way that I would call that emotionally resonant. Now, it's not ambiguous or anything, there's nothing up for interpretation, and it's pretty clear what happens, but the direction it goes felt like it was done more for shock value rather than because the film had anything to say or because it was a truly fitting end to this journey. I get what they were doing, and it's still not a bad ending, though given what certain characters do in this final act, it wasn't quite as strong for me as the rest of the film was. If I had to be honest, it seemed like the film had a lot more commentary to offer regarding censorship that was ultimately discarded for a twist. Like I said, not a bad one, but I think it could have been better. Still, despite some questionable decisions in this narrative, Censor is a bold, ambitious leap for independent horror that you have to commend for at the very least swinging for the fences. Its tributes to 80s horror are very nice, and it contains a solid aesthetic that makes this director one to look out for. While I didn't quite love the movie, I'd still recommend giving it a shot, as I still feel it's worth a watch. Censor gets a 7 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Censor, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it scary? Is it one of the strangest horror movies you've seen? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.